This is a presentation about a fire alarm application. The major components of the system are desktop application, web client, fire sensor application which will mimic the fire sensor, and the REST API where all the above three will interact with. First, let's start the desktop application. For that, we should start the RMI registry. First, we should go to the bin of that application and start the RMI registry. Then we could run the RMI server. Now the server is started. Now we could run the desktop application. This is the first page of the desktop application. Now let's start the web client application. This is the web client application. Now let's start the application which would mimic the fire sensor. Now this is the application which would mimic the fire sensor. By default, all the sensors are inactive. Sensor activity is false, as you could see. Even here you could see all are inactive, all the sensors. That's why it's shown in red. Now to make it active, this is how we make it active. We should give the sensor ID which is mentioned here, and then we should give the room number and the floor number, room number 2 and floor number 1, and submit it. Now as you can see, the sensor is authenticated. When I click OK, we will now this place we could change the smoke level and the CO2 level. Now let's wait until this change to true, the sensor activity. Now you can see the desktop now you could see the web client's activity became active, and the sensor active here in the desktop client also became active. We could create as many as new fire sensors by starting new sensors like this. Now these are new sensor. Now we could start the second sensor which has ID 19 and a room number 4 and floor 14. Authenticated. Now let's see until this sensor 19 become active. Since the web client refreshes itself in 40 seconds and the web client, the desktop client refreshes itself in 30 seconds, it would take a little time. And now you could see this has become active and true here. Now we could change the CO2 levels. I will change the CO2 level of the sensor ID 19 to 6, which is bad. The status became dangerous because this client will send to the API in every 10 seconds, so it's fast. Here it became red because the CO2 level was 6, and we could see we got a alert message in the desktop client saying that room 5 in that CO2 level is more than 5 in room 4 floor 14. As you could see, it has changed CO2 level 6, and it has that line has become red. And when you click OK, that's and we can change the smoke level also to something above 6 in the other sensor, which is in room 2 floor 1, and we got a message here, and you could see when that this would take a little time. Still it's in a good state because this refreshes itself in 40 seconds. This shows still it's in good state. Now see, it became red, showing that CO smoke level is above 6, so it became red. That's how the system basically works. Now let's see the email and the SMS sent by the RMI server when the CO2 level is bad or increased. For that, I'll open the console and change my console to the RMI server. As you could see, previously we changed CO2 level of floor 14 and room 4. They have sent email and SMS. Now let's see it correctly. I will change the CO2 level. I will open a new sensor. And I will take the sensor ID 15 to show this. It is in room number 9, floor number 8. Now the sensor will be activated. Now what I will do is I will increase the CO2 level. To 8. Sensor 15. It's in danger state, so I got a alert in the desktop client. When I click OK, and there will be 2 messages because previously also it was above 7, so we got 2 messages, one for CO2 level, one for smoke level, because both are above the good value. Now we could open this and we could see we got the CO2 level is greater. We got SMS and email both. That CO2 level is greater than 5 on room number 9 floor 8. We got a SMS and email both, and we got a SMS and email both for the smoke level also separately. That's how we get the RMI registry. RMI server sends a email and SMS to the system. Now let's see how we could add, edit and delete sensor from the system. Only the admin can do it from the desktop application. So first login. Here there is a validation. The username and password cannot be empty. Now we should log in. Now this is the admin's dashboard. Here he could see the sensors details with the smoke levels, and he could edit the details from here. Let's first add a new sensor. Let's add a sensor in flow 10, room 10. Add sensor. Sensor added successfully. Okay. Now when we go back, we could see there is a new sensor in flow 10 in room 10 on flow 10. Even the fire alarm, the web client will be updated. Still it's not updated. It will take 40 seconds to update. Here we could see sensor with ID 22 which was generated from the REST API, and it's inactive because we didn't start it through the dummy sense application, and it's in flow 10 room 10. Let's see, this is the sensor I created. Now let's see how we could edit the details. To edit, just click on that row, then the details will be filled here. The sensor ID and the sensor status cannot be changed by the admin. As we know, it could only be changed through the sensor. The sensor ID will be given through the REST API. This cannot be changed. Likewise, the sensor status also cannot be changed. It should be started by the dummy application. But the flow number and room number can be changed. I will change this to flow number 11 and room number 11 and save the changes. Saved successfully. This will refresh itself 11 and we could see even the web client didn't change. It will change, it will take 40 seconds to refresh itself. Still it didn't change. Yeah, now it changed to 11. Okay, now let's see how now there is a validation here. We can't add letters in the flow number, only numbers are allowed. Even in room number the same validation is created. Now let's see how we could delete a sensor. To delete a sensor, it's the same. Click the required sensor. Now the details will be filled according to that. Let's delete the sensor which we added, 22. See, the details is filled accordingly. Now let's delete it. Delete. Deleted successfully. Okay, it's deleted from the desktop application. Let's wait until it changes in the web client. Once again, it will take 40 seconds to refresh itself. Yeah, now that sensor is gone. Sensor with ID 22 in flow 11 room 11 is not there. Right, this is how you edit, delete and add a sensor. Thank you for listening to our presentation. Goodbye.